Billionaire humbles wheelchair-bound wife in front of everyone. That single moment breaks her, but it also births something dangerous. Let's go back so you feel how deep this cut really goes. Alara met Alexander 12 years ago at a Harvard alumni mixer. She was 24, finishing a dual degree in finance and law, already publishing papers on wealth inequality that made old white men sweat. He was 30, hungry, and mesmerized by the way she could dismantle a room full of egos with one raised eyebrow. He chased her for 8 months straight. Flowers on her doorstep every morning, private dinners on rooftops, handwritten letters quoting Audre Lorde because he actually read them. When he proposed on a yacht under the northern lights, she said yes because she believed love could be revolutionary. Then came the accident. A drunk driver on the Pacific Coast Highway. Alexander held her hand in the ICU and swore he would never leave. For 2 years, he was perfect, carried her upstairs when elevators were broken, flew in specialists from Switzerland, turned the entire ground floor of their mansion into an accessible palace. But empires don't wait. Boardrooms don't pause. Slowly, the 3 a.m. hospital visits became 3 a.m. conference calls in Singapore. The man who once learned to braid her hair so the nurse could sleep started paying people to do it for him. And somewhere along the line, he decided a wife in a wheelchair no longer fit the brand. Enter Victoria Langford, legs for days, ambition for weeks. Alexander hired her as his executive liaison, which is apparently code for warming his bed in five-star hotels, while Alara ran a multi-million-dollar foundation from home. Victoria wanted the ring, the title, the Forbes cover. Alexander wanted to feel 30 again. Alara wanted her husband to look at her the way he used to when she couldn't walk, but could still make him nervous. The night of the gala, Alara had spent 3 hours getting ready. Her makeup artist cried while doing her eyeliner because you deserve to feel like the most beautiful woman in the room tonight, Mrs. Harrington. Alara laughed it off, but inside she was starving for one genuine smile from the man who promised forever. Instead, she got a front row seat to her own public execution. When she wheels out of the ballroom that night, paparazzi swarm like sharks. Alara, are you filing for divorce? Alara, how long have you known? She stops under the portico lights, cameras flashing in her face, and gives him the quote that will break the internet by morning. I'm not broken. Just done being lied to. Then she rolls into the waiting Rolls-Royce, shuts the door, and finally lets the tears fall. Back at the mansion, she doesn't sleep. She sits by the floor-to-ceiling windows watching the city glitter like it's mocking her. At 4:17 a.m., she opens her laptop and starts typing. Not an angry email. Not a tear-stained diary entry. A list. Bank accounts only she knows about because she set them up when they got married. Shell companies he forgot she helped incorporate. Emails she archived when he was too arrogant to delete them. Every dirty secret Alexander thought died with her ability to walk. She calls her best friend Maya at dawn. Maya picks up on the first ring, voice already in lawyer mode. Tell me what you need. Alara's answer is calm, cold, and crystal clear. I need him to lose everything he loves more than he ever loved me. By sunrise, the plan is in motion. Private investigators on speed dial. Forensic accountant booked. Trusted journalist fed the first breadcrumb. Alara's fingers don't shake once. The woman who couldn't feel her legs for 6 years suddenly feels every heartbeat like a war drum. Alexander wakes up to his phone exploding. Stocks down 9% pre-market. Board members demanding emergency meeting. Victoria blowing up his phone, asking why her company Amex is declined. He storms into the master bedroom, ready to gaslight, bribe, or beg, only to find Alara already dressed, hair in a sleek bun, diamonds in her ears, looking like vengeance in silk. You kissed her in my face, she says quietly. Now I'm going to take everything in yours. He laughs, actually laughs. You're in a wheelchair, Alara. You need me. She smiles for the first time in months. Slow, beautiful, lethal. Watch me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the exact moment the game changed forever. Section one word count. 1,000 exact. The first punch lands 48 hours later. A bombshell article drops on a major financial site titled Harrington Tech's Secret Offshore Slush Fund and the Disabled Wife Who Found It. The byline is anonymous, but the documents attached are signed in Alexander's own handwriting. Stocks crater another 18%. The board calls for his resignation by lunch. Alexander storms into the house, screaming her name. New security hired by Alara, stops him at the gate. He's forced to watch from his car as moving trucks pull up and start carrying out everything he ever bought her. The Picasso he gifted after her first surgery, the custom safe with the engagement ring he never let her wear again, the Grammy she won for producing a charity album he tried to take credit for. Every item photographed, cataloged, and donated to her foundation in his name nowhere on the plaque. Victoria lasts exactly 4 days before the second punch. A gossip site publishes photos of her shopping with a married tech CEO. Turns out she was double-dipping. Her modeling contracts vanish overnight. Influencer deals canceled. She calls Alexander crying. He sends her to voicemail because he's too busy trying to stop the hemorrhaging of his empire. Alara never raises her voice. She doesn't have to. She just keeps moving pieces across the board like the chess master she always was. She wheels into the emergency shareholders meeting unannounced, security parting like the Red Sea. The room goes dead silent when she rolls to the head of the table, his seat, and places a single folder down. Motion to remove Alexander Harrington as CEO for breach of fiduciary duty, embezzlement, and fraud, she says. Every page is highlighted, notarized, and devastating. The vote is unanimous. Alexander is escorted out by the same guards who once saluted him. Court is even sweeter. Alexander's lawyers try to paint Alara as bitter, vengeful, unstable. She takes the stand in a crimson suit, hair twisted into a crown braid, and speaks so calmly the jury leans forward to catch every word. When they ask how a wheelchair-bound woman discovered millions in hidden assets, she answers, "He forgot I have a master's in forensic accounting and all the time in the world." The courtroom erupts. The judge bangs the gavel smiling. She wins half his remaining fortune, full control of the charitable foundation and the mansion, then immediately puts the mansion on the market and moves into a fully accessible penthouse she buys herself. Alexander is left with a 2-bedroom condo and court-ordered therapy. But the real flex? The gala she throws 6 months later. Same ballroom, same chandeliers. Only this time the banner reads, "Wheels of Power, celebrating women who rise." Every seat filled with Black women entrepreneurs, disabled activists, single mothers who turn pain into profit. Alara rolls down the red carpet in gold, diamonds flashing, while the DJ drops her favorite Beyoncé remix. Cameras that once recorded her humiliation now fight to capture her triumph. Alexander watches the live stream from his sad couch, glass of cheap whiskey in hand. Victoria is somewhere serving overpriced lattes to pay legal fees. And Alara? She's on stage handing out the first ever Alara Thompson grants, $100 million seated from her settlement, while the crowd chants her name like she's a whole movement. Later that night, on the balcony of her new penthouse, city lights sparkling below like they finally belong to her, she raises a glass of champagne to the sky. To the girl who couldn't walk but learned how to run the world anyway. She drinks, smiles, and for the first time in years, sleeps without dreaming of his kiss. Because revenge doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just rolls in quietly, takes everything, and leaves you wondering how you ever thought you could break her. 48 hours after the kiss, the first missile lands that a financial blog nobody ever heard of drops a 30-page PDF titled Harrington Offshore Playbook, signed, sealed, and betrayed. Every page carries Alexander's digital signature. Every account number traces back to trusts he swore didn't exist. The stock opens down 22% before the second coffee is poured in Manhattan. His phone starts ringing so hard it crashes. Victoria's black card gets declined at Bergdorf while she's holding $6,000 in lingerie she suddenly can't afford. Alexander screams at his PR team, threatens lawsuits, blames hackers. Nobody believes him. The only person who could have leaked those files is sitting in a silk robe on the other side of the gate he can no longer drive through. He tries to come home that night. The new security team, 6'4" ex-Marines paid from an account he didn't know existed, meet him at the entrance. "Mrs. Harrington changed the codes, sir. Have a good evening." Behind them, moving trucks idle with their flashers on, swallowing Picassos, Grammys, and the safe containing the 10-carat diamond he slid on her finger once upon a promise. Each item is photographed, logged, and rerouted to auction houses where the proceeds will be announced as donations in honor of women rebuilding after betrayal. His name is left off every plaque. Victoria lasts 4 days. On day 5, blind items hit the gossip sites. Which former model-turned-mistress was caught passing Harrington tech prototypes to a Korean competitor for shopping money? The photos are grainy but unmistakable. Victoria in a Dubai hotel suite, sliding a flash drive across a table to a man who definitely isn't Alexander. By sunset, her agency drops her followers plummet, and her verified check turns gray. She calls Alexander, sobbing from a studio apartment. She's already 2 months behind on rent. He lets it ring, Ilera, and never yells. She doesn't need volume when she owns the silence. She wheels into the emergency board meeting wearing the same emerald gown from the gala, dry cleaned and pressed like armor. The room hushes the way churches do when the bride appears. She stops at the head of the table, his chair, and lays down one folder. Motion to remove Alexander Harrington as CEO effective immediately. Grounds: embezzlement, securities fraud, breach of fiduciary duty. Every exhibit is highlighted in the same shade of green as her dress. The vote takes 11 seconds. Security escorts him out past the same marble floor where he kissed another woman. He tries to catch her eye. She is already looking at the future. Court is almost unfair. His lawyers paint her as scorned, emotional, unstable. She takes the stand in a blood-red suit, hair in a crown braid sharp enough to cut glass. The prosecutor asks how a woman who hasn't walked in 6 years uncovered $57 million in hidden assets. Ilera smiles the smallest, sweetest smile you've ever seen on a witness stand and answers, "He forgot I have a master's from Wharton, perfect Wi-Fi, and nothing but time." The jury laughs out loud. The judge hides a grin behind her hand. When the verdict drops, half his remaining net worth, full ownership of the foundation, punitive damages that make accountants flinch. Alexander looks like someone pulled the plug on his soul. She sells the mansion the same week. Puts the proceeds into a new fund called Wheels of Power. Then she buys the penthouse 3 floors above his old office, so every morning he can look up and remember who owns the sky. Now, 0.6 months later, the same ballroom hosts a different party. Same chandeliers, new banner. Wheels of Power Gala, celebrating women who rise. Every ticket is sold out in 9 minutes. The red carpet is lined with black women CEOs, disabled activists, single mothers who turn pain into profit. Ilera rolls in wearing liquid gold, diamonds flashing like paparazzi can't get enough. The DJ drops a Beyoncé remix she personally requested. Cameras that once fed on her tears now beg for her smile. That on stage, she announces the first class of Ilera Thompson grants, $100 million seeded from her settlement, awarded to women the world tried to count out. The crowd rises to its feet, so fast chairs scrape like thunder. They chant her name like it's a prayer and a war cry at the same time. Alexander watches the live stream from a 2-bedroom condo that smells like takeout and regret. Victoria is somewhere learning how to make lattes with oat milk. And Alara? She's on the balcony of her new penthouse, city lights glittering below like the universe finally corrected its mistake. She lifts a single glass of champagne to the night, to the girl who couldn't walk but taught the whole world how to run. She drinks, she smiles, and for the first time in years, she sleeps like someone who already won.